Hi there, Kamasi here, and welcome to this month's Tips, Tools and Strategies, and I've got a humdinger for you today. And just a side note, if you've never been triggered in your life, you don't need to watch this video, so you may as well turn it off and go somewhere else. But if you are human like the rest of us, there's a good chance you may have even been triggered today, yesterday, or sometime recently. The reality is we get triggered a whole bunch of times, and our work again is not just to reduce the times we get triggered, that's part of it, and doing the inner work and creating more calm and being more self-aware and like being more responsive as opposed to reactive is part of that. But just like a physically fit person who can have a high heart rate due to activity, when they stop, it's how quickly can they get back to a low resting heart rate. That's a sign of their physical fitness. For me, a sign of our emotional fitness is how quickly can we, after getting triggered, get back to this point of calm and homeostasis. So that's what we're about. And that's what we're about, with strategies. What is the strategy that helps us get out of that triggering experience so we don't just lose ourselves in it and turn into a crazy person and be stomping around for hours and sometimes days because of what we've got triggered by? So for me, the thing is, what is it that I'm telling myself that causes me to be triggered? It's the meaning that we create inside, which creates whatever, internal biochemistry going on in us to feel a particular way. It's often 99% of the time, the story we tell inside our head about the thing out there, which creates this. It's not necessarily the thing out there that's doing it to us. That thing out there needs to filter through our brain and the meaning we give to things, which causes, whatever physiological effect that we have within ourselves. So it's important to understand what is my interpretation of this particular thing, and is my interpretation of this thing the thing that's triggering me? And I would say the majority of time it is. And the majority of times, the story you're telling yourself about the thing that's happened that's triggering you is not true. It might be partially true, but it's generally not true. We're generally making stuff up to make whatever it is a lot worse than it is. For instance, we might have catch up with a friend and the friend is late, and then, we get really triggered by them being late and we're grumpy and cranky through that whole meetup, and it ends up being a shitty meetup and that sort of stuff. And we're like, I don't know why I even caught up with that person. If we actually step back and look at what was I telling myself, which caused me to be so triggered about that person being late, we'll have stories like, they don't care about me, they don't respect me, they're always doing this to me, or worse, everyone always does this to me, no one respects me. That puts us into an absolute pickle, as opposed to the truth might be, this person is a person who's always late. So the reality is, if I don't like hanging out with people that are always late, I need to find new friends. Not fight the reality of the experience, the reality that they're a person who's always late, or the majority of the time. Or there might be some genuine reason why this person was particularly late, as opposed to the story you're creating in your mind, which is causing you to wig out. So the strategy is, if I get triggered, then I ask myself, what am I telling myself which is causing me to be so triggered? And I try to see what meaning and interpretation I'm giving to something, and whether my meaning and interpretation is 100% true, or whether I'm using some assumptions, or I'm making some stuff up, or I'm doing a pity party, or, trying to play the victim, or whatever it is. We create that. And that's why, and here I go, I'm going to sort of plug my workshop that's coming up on the weekend, based around this book, The Successful Mind. The weekend is about trying to get into understanding what are the beliefs I'm believing into, which is creating the reality in my life. What are the beliefs that are causing me to feel this way, which makes me behave this way, which makes me get these results? So spend some time with me to understand. It's a great investment for yourself to understand what's going on inside here. And I've got the details down below. The thing is choose your own price. The thing's spread out over a bunch of time between live stuff and online stuff. So it's extremely doable. You can do it in your own pace. And it's going to culminate with me taking you through a technique, an NLP technique, to shift a core limiting belief with a new empowered belief. So great results at the end of it. So do check it out. Like I said, the details are down below. I'd love to serve you for that. But otherwise, have an absolutely incredible day wherever you are on this incredible, great, sunny here in Bali, gorgeous, incredible planet of ours. All the very best and take care.